So a couple months ago, we took a look at REEFLEX lenses, but REEFLEX also makes a handful of apps that they asked me to check out and give my opinions on. So in this video, we're going to fire through 5 REEFLEX apps that all share the same kind of cohesive feel, but all serve a different purpose for different type of photographers. Also, I wonder if you can see the sweat on my face because our AC broke and it is 82 degrees inside the house. So for the first app is 𝗬𝗧𝗨𝗙𝗙. Before you can go out and take more photos and videos, you kind of need some storage space on your phone. And so this is a great app if you want to clear up some of the clutter, some of the duplicates and everything you got going on. This app is essentially Tinder for your Photos app. Once you give permissions, it basically breaks everything down. You can go and do it by year, month, season, what have you. You can see both photos and videos. And once you get into the area that you're trying to clean up, you just start swiping. Swipe right to keep it, swipe left to delete it. Now, thankfully, if you accidentally swipe left on something that you don't want to, it doesn't instantly delete it in that moment. When you go back to your home page, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see your trash. And this is basically your last chance to kind of look through everything that you've swiped left on and recover anything that you accidentally didn't mean to start to delete. Or this is where you can clear your trash and delete it off your phone, giving you space back. And it's also nice because it actually tells you how much space you're going to regain. And once you start deleting videos, especially something like ProRes Apple Log, you start gaining back space pretty quickly. An extra little note about this app is I like the little stats page it gives you, just a little breakdown of specifically how much storage your videos and photos are taking. All right, so the next 2 apps we're going to be talking about long exposures. If you're a fan of doing those, you know, car lights, streaks, and water flowy falls, all that good stuff, you'll be interested in one or both of these next 2 apps. The first one is REEFLEX. This app actually allows you to get those long exposure shots without needing to have a tripod on you. That's the biggest thing with this sort of shots, is a tripod is kind of necessary because, you know, hands aren't perfectly stable. But this app utilizes AI to, I'm guessing, help crop in and help take multiple exposures of the static background, and then understands like, oh, that's water, or those are car light streaks, and helps you get the effect that you're trying to give with long exposure photography, but without needing the tripod. So you can just totally handheld. Being able to literally handheld a long exposure shot is really interesting. I was able to do up to 15 seconds with it looking pretty good. And when I compare that to the 15 seconds on the traditional long exposure app, it's just pretty rough. Now, if you're interested in dialing in the perfect long exposures and actually getting a raw file out of it, that is where the REEXPOSE app is for. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, one thing you'll start to notice in all of these different camera apps is the cohesive design language. I think REEFLEX has done a good job at having these like friendly, familiar design elements in all of their apps. So if you use one, once you download a second one, it's pretty easy to learn, which is very nice. Now in this more advanced app, you get some extra settings like parallel bracketing, live preview. You have a countdown, so that way you don't get a little bit of shake as you hit the shutter button. A level, rule of thirds, some pretty basic photography features, but nice to have. Focus peakings, histogram, stuff like that. And then that's gonna bring us to the Relapse app. Now I'll be honest, I've used the time-lapse feature in the stock camera app for a long time. It's really nice and simple, but I have found myself really loving the Relapse for this specific design element. It's the ability to show you how many frames, how long you need to record to get a specific timed output. And what I mean by that is sometimes the time lapse on the stock camera app, how it's set up is basically however long you record, it will adjust how many multiple exposures it's taking or how many pictures it's taking in that amount of time. But you never really know like how long that final output video is going to be. And let's say you're working on a project and you know you want a time lapse to either be kind of long and fill, you know, 30 seconds of a whole video, or you want to make sure that it fits nice and neatly into an 8-second video. Well, you can dial that in so perfectly by setting the amount of frames and the allotted time of however long it's actually taking exposures, and you'll see the output time right there. And you can change the interval within that amount of time. So if a lot of stuff is happening, then you can put down to like half a second it's taking a new photo, or if there's not big drastic changes, then you can set the interval to a lot longer. And it has everything from your more professional manual controls, and it even has built-in motion blurring features that if you're doing like cloud formations where you're seeing it change, it will actually kind of blend them together, makes it look a lot more natural and cinematic rather than a little bit more potentially jittery if you had a lower amount of exposure intervals or a higher amount of intervals, so less pictures per time lapse. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. It's so hot in here. And at the end of the session, this just gets saved as a video file. Still incredibly easy to use, but just has some extra dialed in features that I really appreciate. And finally, we have the main Reflex app. This is their pro photography app that the majority of you are going to be used to the types of features that are going to be in here if you've tested out other manual controls. In here, you can shoot ProRAW, HEIF, True RAW video, which by the way, on Reflex's YouTube channel, I'm going to link this video in the description. It is the best breakdown of RAW, ProRAW, and HEIF codec explanations of when to use them and the pros and cons of each one that I've ever seen on YouTube. I'm not kidding. What I don't think gets often talked about though with these third-party apps is actually the reliability and the speed of the apps themselves. It's great and obviously important for these pro apps to have the features that we all want. But let's be honest, this pro camera app has a lot of the same features that other pro camera apps have. Besides the advantage of the design language I talked about, if you like all these different apps and features, you get used to it. But in my testing, this is also one of the faster photography apps out there. And what I mean by that is from the time I need to open the app and press the shutter and the photo actually takes has been reliably and consistently very fast. The amount of times that developers have sent me different apps, whether it's video or photography apps, and I'll test them out and they may look beautiful, they may have really cool features, but then you go to open it and it lags or it crashes more than you'd like it to. Or you're just mashing the shutter button because the moment is passing and it's not saving the photo and then it glitches and crashes out on you. Capturing the image in front of you is the purpose of these apps. And so if they can't do that quickly, and they're just bogged down by a bunch of fancy whatever, then it's kind of useless. And no matter where I seem to map this app to, or just opening the app like a normal app on the screen, each way it's been reliable and fast. I didn't even mention really that there's a Apple Watch counterpart to pretty much all of these apps. So if you're interested in checking that out, you want to see more content about this, let me know down in the comments below, give this video a like. Shout out to Reflex for sponsoring this video, and I cannot wait to get the iPhone 17 version of the Reflex case so that I can finally test again the lenses on the iPhone 17. If you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.